happy Pride Festival. I would like to acknowledge the original custodians of our land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to their elders, both past and present, and acknowledge the people of the very many nationalities who live in our city. Well, as Varushka said, June is a very special month, and it's the month for the international LGBTI community, and for us here in Sydney and in Australia, and of course around the world. June is the month 49 years ago when the gay liberation movement was born in a small bar in New York. Lesbians and gay men, many of them young, some of them in drag like all the glamour here tonight, said enough is enough. Enough of discrimination, enough of harassment, enough of victimisation. And when the New York police arrived on a routine raid on the Stonewall, its patrons fought back. The result was a riot later described as the hairpin drop that was heard around the world. A year later, the first gay pride marches took place in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. In 1971, many cities across the United States and in Europe held their first pride marches. And in June 1978, Sydney joined them. Sydney's lesbians and gay men planned an international day of gay solidarity and a series of events, culminating in a nighttime street parade. Except it wasn't called a Pride March, it was called a Mardi Gras! We all know that the first Mardi Gras, we all know how the first Mardi Gras ended. Yet it was its violent ending at the hands of the police in King's Cross ensured that would be a second Mardi Gras and a third. They're stupid really, aren't they? No, if they've taken no notice, who knows? And this year we celebrated the 40th anniversary of that first Mardi Gras. We also celebrated the courage of those first marchers and the legions of LGBTIQ activists who have continued to inspire the movement in the ongoing battles for recognition and acceptance. A battle that's been fought since the Stonewall riots 49 years ago this month, and for many years before that. What better way to celebrate than with a festival? Sydney has been holding Pride festivals for many years, and this year there's an added reason to celebrate the resounding success of the same-sex plebiscite. Not a plebiscite, it was a vote, wasn't it? The same-sex marriage vote. 62% of Australians voted yes, and I'm proud that in Sydney it was 84%. And I'm delighted that in Tony Abbott's electorate of Warringah it was 75%. So many have now wed, and those who married overseas have had their marriages legally recognised here. The City of Sydney is very proud of its support for marriage equality and our broad support for the LGBTIQ community. It's a practical way of showing that we stand for an inclusive, a diverse and an accepting city, and we value all the community, all that your community contributes to our city. So this year's Pride Festival of True Colours can rightly showcase the community's achievements as well as honouring the pioneers of 1978. As Varushka said, there's a terrific lineup of events, debates, trivia and sport carnivals, now until the end of the month. And I know that you're going to attract plenty of support, raising funds for your various causes to show the solidarity that you have for your community. On behalf of the city, I'd like to thank you for all that you contribute to making Sydney the open, the inclusive and the joyous place that it is. I want to salute all the volunteers, the event organisers, the sponsors and the community members who'll join the Sydney Pride to make a memorable month of celebrity. So I'd like to call, it's my very great pleasure now, to call Alex Greenwich, the fantastic member for Sydney, who played such a critical role in achieving marriage equality, to talk to you.
Thank you very much, Clover. Can I start by acknowledging the traditional owners of our land, the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to the elders past and present. Can I also acknowledge all the 78ers here, all the advocates, volunteers and activists, and let's give them a big round of applause. And let's give the round of applause going for our awesome Lord Mayor, Clover, who has been with our community her entire political career. I would also really like to thank the absolutely fabulous Varushka, who has dedicated herself to our community as well and helped so much, and to the wonderful Glenn and the Stonewall Hotel. The Stonewall is actually where I first kissed a guy some 16 or 18 years ago, so it's always wonderful to come back here. This Pride, we really do need to celebrate our true colours. That is what has got us through some tough times. As Clover said, the 78ers marched down Oxford Street and were met with violence. They marched for our rights and for our equality. We have then seen such amazing progress from Clover's work with anti-vilification and same-sex adoption to a number of other reforms that have taken place. And obviously the hugely successful win for marriage equality that happened last year. This week actually marked the 6-month anniversary of marriage equality legislation passing the federal parliament, and we know that 2,500 couples have got married. So let's give them a big round of applause too. But we need to keep our true colours going. We have a lot more work to do. This week in New South Wales Parliament, we ended forced trans divorce. There is a number of other reforms which we need to do, particularly for the trans and gender diverse and intersex community, and I'm committed along with a number of my colleagues in federal parliament to progress that. Make sure this Pride you support all of the venues on Oxford Street. Make sure you support all of the wonderful organisations that make our community so rich. And happy Pride, everyone.
Great! Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the fabulous Clover and Alex Greenwich.